Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Scott. What are you doing?
Not much. Just crashing my wife's office today. What about you?
Oh, just working my life away.
Is your hair a little bit darker? Do you what is there are you doing it? Do you straighten it? What's new?
I love you so much as my best friend, but your go-to is the hair. Is it always the hair?
Yeah, sometimes it's facial features. What doesn't work with my wife is I'm like, oh my God, you look so, and then I'm like, oh, she put makeup on. So I gotta make sure I don't do that. But I mean, I think it's a defense mechanism with facial features. So like for me, I can remember stuff like that. And so men or women. So it's not just women, but
I
with
hear you do it with everybody with the hair.
yeah, with women, sometimes women tend to maybe get their hair colored more, and then men. But either way, I notice length.
At my
With
age,
men,
if you're getting your hair colored, it's to cover up other colors.
oh, there you go. Well, but with men, I notice beards too. Do you notice anything in particular? I wonder if the audience has any weird quirks they notice.
No, but I'm back in online dating, which is it's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. And I I'm really invested in the psychology of this because when people choose their pictures, like there's nothing better than thinking somebody's mildly attractive and showing them up and them being very attractive. That's one level of psychology. And then the other level is showing up and them not looking anything like their pictures, right? Which is a whole different level of psychology. And so I'm really just focused in my life on always looking like I do in pictures. Like whether it be her
Interesting. So I'm looking up this gentleman right now. It's not coming. He was the CEO of Integrated Roadways, and I talked to him, and he was saying that online dating got smashed during the pandemic because people had nowhere to go, so they all flooded there, and it really just created a diverse dating pool that wasn't necessarily good.
oh,
And he said it just really changed it. But he had something really smart and pithy about the online dating, but it's not everything it's cracked up to be apparently.
no, it's not, Scott. It's absolutely terrible. But when you're a
That's what he
40-year-old woman who doesn't like to leave her house, you're limited options.
said. No. I know, but what I'm saying is it's not as robust as what it was during the pandemic.
I don't know if it's ever very good, but anyways, who cares? If you have somebody you want to, let's use this. If you have somebody you think that I would fall in love with, just send them my way. With that, where are you watching from? Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube? Let us know. Are you watching live or are you watching the replay? Here is our favorite, Paul, with his weekly joke. Watching in his
Yeah. I'm telling people he writes for the show because
he
he's
really
he's
does.
he's
Look at
funnier
his
than we
head
are.
face. He doesn't look as funny as he is in his
No,
face.
no, he is hilarious. What's really funny is Paul Fogel, who is amazing. Everyone knows in Kansas City, and our sponsors, Best Way International and Evardy Construction. The reason why they're so cool and everyone wants to work for them is they would love that Aaron Fulk was like, hey, if you know anyone, send them my way, because you know what? That's why we work with our friends on the show, and that's why their companies are amazing.
Listen, there's gotta be one person out there that wants to date me, right? There's gotta be. I'm kind of a catch.
Yeah, like if you are shipping anything internationally, need to know about tariffs, or if you're just moving truckloads, gotta call Bestway International. If you're building something, whether it's Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the Down Syndrome Guild, all the restaurants in the airport, or if you know someone that's really sweet and good looking that wants to talk to Aaron Folk, this is the time to do it.
This is embarrassing. Hey, I do want to talk about sponsors really quick. Best Way International actually is doing a live show tomorrow. It's called
Yes.
Flyover Cafe. A lot of you guys have questions on tariffs and what that means, especially come Monday. Tomorrow, over on the Best Way International page, they are doing a show at 11 a.m. Central Time called Cargo Cafe. It's a live show just like this. It's on their LinkedIn page. Go and watch that at 11. You can ask questions. They're going to give you the stats, the facts, what this all means, what could be coming, what this might mean. They know way more about tariffs than I do about the TikTok ban right now. They are the experts. So go there and watch that and tune in. They're doing that once a month, which is really cool because they're staying on top of all of those laws and changes for everybody. So we don't have to.
That's exactly right. You're moving product. You got to talk to them.
Exactly. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so here is the deal. We have two amazing guests today. I want to give a shout out to Jessica Powell because, again, she scheduled our guests for us. So these are people we get to meet for the first time today, too.
Love Jessica.
Which is awesome. So shout out to Jessica Powell. Go follow her if you're not following her. But I say we get to the guests. People have had enough of us. We're boring.
Let's go.
Okay. I forgot to apologize to our guests about this absolutely terrible music you're making.
Knew you'd forget it.
Oh, it's literally the worst. I'm sorry, guys. Here we go. All right. Today we have two awesome guests. One lady international. That's all about Alexandra and David. Hi, guys. Sorry about the music. It's Scott's favorite. I do. So, all right. Well, we are so excited to have you guys here. We're just going to jump into it. Alexandra, who are you? What do you do? And how did you get to Kansas City?
So nice to meet you all. I'm Alex. I am currently the newest investor at Flyover Capital over here at the Plaza. That's where I'm calling in from. I'm a fairly recent transplant from Los Angeles, moved here to Kansas City around the end of April, but I've lived in New York City, born and raised Los Angeles. And so I've been on both of the coasts, gotten to experience that. And then my husband got a job opportunity here in KC. We came for one weekend, went around the city, went around looking at houses and said, let's do it. I really connected with the area. I thought it was an awesome city, a lot of stuff going on, and you could get anywhere you want in LA terms very quickly. Everything is 20 minutes away is what I tell my family back home. So I take it as I get more time to do what I actually want, and what I don't want to do is sit in traffic. So it's been very fun so far. And then after moving here, I met the Flyover team. And so I've been working with them since November on some new investment strategies and supporting entrepreneurs out of the Midwest region.
A couple quick questions. I love that. When you started looking at the houses, were you confused at how much house you got for your money here?
Kind of in shock. I mean, what we ended up getting is basically we're paying for a 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles, and now we have a wonderful large house in Overland Park with a backyard and trees. And as soon as my friends and family saw that, they're like, okay, we understand why you're moving.
And I have one more question, Scott. You can ask questions. Are all of your friends and family safe and okay in Los Angeles?
Yes, luckily they're kind of in the beach cities. So if anyone's familiar with Redondo Beach, that's where my friends and family are. And so we're very fortunate that it's avoiding any of the destruction, but it's been horrible. It's kind of something we come to expect every year, but never on this level.
Aaron asked the same exact questions I was going to ask. And the question I want to make sure, because we could ask you a lot of questions about a lot of different things. What does an ideal opportunity look like for you in business?
An ideal opportunity always starts with the founder, and it starts with a really strong and capable founder who is scrappy, who has some deep insight. We call it like a non-obvious insight, something that isn't just commonplace and has like some deep understanding of the world, and with a very specific way to solve that. So I would say it starts with a founder and an idea.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, we're so excited to meet you. I'm glad that you're liking Kansas City. Sorry we don't have beaches. Everything else. Well, or mountains. Everything else, though, besides those things. So, all right, David, who are you? What do you do? How do you get to Kansas City? And where are you now?
Awesome. Hey, guys. Well, my name's David. I'm originally from Chicago. Great pizza. And kind of spent my career there, school, grew up. And I had a startup called Particle Space. We did real estate data APIs. So what we did is we just had a API that developers, products could connect to, consume just different residential real estate and and some commercial data. And I recently had an exit with that back in November. So now I am just, figuring out what's the next play, where am I focused? And what brought me here actually it was over 10 years ago now, but I actually moved here for iVerify as a software engineer.
Whoa.
So I verify. Yeah. So iVerify we built an SDK for biometric authentication. And yeah, so.
What is something that you learned from iVerify that you take with you today in everything you do?
Build, put meaning behind what you build, I'd say. And, I would say it's not the quantity, but the quality. Because at iVerify, I was fortunate enough to be with like some amazing engineers, and there weren't many of us, but there was an acquisition that happened and it helped change over 1 billion people. So just very grateful for that.
Now, tell us a little bit about where you are today, because it's interesting. And what time is it?
Oh, I'm in Japan right now, Tokyo, and it is 6 a.m. So
what's the biggest, like when you get there, I know you've been there a few times, but when you get there, what's the first thing that you were like, wow, this is very different than America?
Oh, that's tough. I think with any place you visit when you leave the country, especially if it's your first time, there's the wow factor and you're just amazed at everything because it's different. I think for Japan, the thing that I loved was the order of everything. And over time, it does, as an American, you're more used to individualism, doing your own thing. And in Japan, everything's cohesion. So everything is as a team. You do things, and how you think about it is so it doesn't affect the other person. So there's a lot of society like hierarchy and a lot of just like you stay in your own lane and that's all you do. So it's just different. You can't even compare the two because it's just different. And so when you first experience that, it's like, oh, wow, I kind of like the cleanseness. I like, the order and, so, yeah.
But then you miss your uniqueness. I get that.
Well, and then you miss your space,
all of that, right? Yeah, whenever I see pictures of Japan, it looks completely like, it looks very in order, but it looks very like a lot. It's just a lot. A lot of people, a lot of all of that. So
Tokyo, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, Scott.
Alex, what is the most pivotal point in your career?
Well, I think I'm in my most pivotal point right now, actually. I previously was working still in venture capital, but for a different firm. And I was in Los Angeles, but working remotely. And I was actually in the food and beverage space. So completely different industry.
Wow.
And now I feel like, it's at the point of your career where you think, okay, I've done a lot, very thankful for the experience, but time to move on. I need a new challenge. So my new challenge is moving into the technology space because Flyover invests in software companies. And so that is a huge learning curve for me now, trying to deep dive into AI and machine learning and fintech, insurtech, prop tech, anything with a tech on it. So that's my biggest challenge right now. But we're working on some really exciting new initiatives that I'll be spearheading here at Flyover. And so I just feel like there's so much opportunity for me to grow personally and then to just jump into a place where I'm very impressed with the business community out of Kansas City and how welcoming people are, how easy it is to meet people. And everyone's seems to be making an effort to connect. So I just think with this position, plus the network that I've kind of been dropped into, it's going to do wonders for my career and for me personally.
So you said it's a big leap from food to tech. Are you sure? Because I feel like you pick up things really quickly and it's a lot about people. Is it that big of a leap?
At the core, and probably the reason why the skills that you need as an investor is working with people, working with founders, assessing an investment. And the core tenets of it aren't so different. And part of being an investor is you'll see things you've never seen every day. Every day you get pitched, you have to learn quickly. So yeah, the core tenets of it aren't, but don't get the experience of saying like, oh, I can look at food and understand all the questions I would have about manufacturing, whether it's international, domestic, what kind of packaging. So, all of that helps you get there a little quicker. So I will get there, but I just have to build up that experience that comes from talking with people.
Yeah, I should have been hanging out with David when he was with all of his tech background. Now, what do you look forward to the most in 2000, or what do you look forward to the most in terms of developing your skill sets with tech?
Yeah, I think just getting to talk to like a whole new subset of founders, right? This is a completely different space. The things you can do with software is very different than in terms of scalability and how fast you can move than with food. So I'm really, really excited to see what that means for businesses, what kind of people get into that, what are the capabilities and the opportunities.
David, what is the most pivotal point in your career?
That's a tough one. I think of just different milestones. I think for me, personally, the most defining has been, raising capital, of course, is very, that I think is very defining because you have people who believe in you. You have, something that you're building. And now there is this, oh no, I just took this big, this check and I need to deliver. Right. And there's that pressure there. And so, but then at the end of it, however that looks like, whether you succeeded or failed, there's, I've been on both sides of that where I think that like when things aren't going well, it's, oh no, I got to have this conversation. Maybe it's to let employees go. Maybe it's to let my investors like, hey, we are not succeeding. And, that's very challenging. And then, for me personally, though, like right now in my situation, with, being able to have a, somewhat of an exit, if anything was really just a soft landing, because we really got hurt from the COVID scene, and we were able to salvage something on it. So that was a positive, a turnaround. But, there's still that aspect of just with all this transition and, with things maybe not going the way that you want, how do you move forward? And, what could you have done differently? I think there's a lot of just thinking back on what you could have done differently, or, maybe if I did this, I'd have product market fit, or, vice versa. So I think the best way is there's a lot of soul searching that I'm still doing and still figuring out like, okay, what's next? And I think there's just a lot of unknown. And for me, that's quite difficult right now. And I think that's pivotal because it's like, okay, I raised capital, built a company, had employees, sold to customers, went, had the ups and downs, had an acquisition. Now what? And, yeah.
So quick question, quick answer, Cindy. That's Alex. What's a skill set where you're looking forward to building for yourself?
Can you rephrase that differently?
What is something that you want to get better at in this year?
I think to be able to put myself more in the customer's shoes, to deliver value. I think that's, everything comes from, am I doing something that helps someone? And it's very easy to get lost, especially, when I'm very technical. So I like the code and build, and you get lost in the problem, but that doesn't help you sell a product, and that doesn't help you build something people want. And I think just being able to focus more on who you're helping and why is the most important. And I'd like to just emphasize on that.
I think you also should work on your personal brand, because do you know what comes up when you Google your name?
My cousin, who's a rapper.
My cousin, the rapper?
Yes.
I didn't know that was your cousin, but yes, it's all
It makes me so bad.
So just work on your.
I just read that. I love my cousin.
That's funny. I
Right.
was like,
Hire William James Creative. Hire Aaron.
well, Scott, you have to Google it because they kind of resemble each other. You can tell it's not him, but I was so confused because I was like, "Is this the second that he's not saying?"
I can't multitask. No way. I'm not
We
following.
fight.
Later.
We fight sometimes in position.
That's,
I'll Google it
When I
after.
have news, I'm at the top.
he's got that Wikipedia page going crazy. So, all right, Alex, what are your 2025 goals, and how can the Kansas City community help you get there?
I'd say my number one goal is to just really get plugged into the network that is around here. So my top priority is to meet founders. Everything he was saying of like what he's learned is exactly why we especially love repeat founders, right? Because they are the ones who have gone through those highs and lows and will be better for it in their second round, no matter if it was a success or a failure or in between. We always are looking for people who can build, people who've done it before. So I would love to meet founders in the larger Kansas City area. And like I said, today I just joined up for an AI meetup group, learning that. So any other kind of tech groups in the area that wouldn't mind me sitting in and learning, any of the pipeline entrepreneurs, those group accelerators. I just want to get plugged into it all and really get to know what that innovation ecosystem is doing here in Kansas City.
Are you going to the Pipeline Gala?
Yes, I am. That's on my calendar.
Cool. I'll see you there. I'm excited about it too.
So you mentioned Kansas City being a welcoming environment. So can you kind of explain the difference between where you've been before and then trying to meet people in Kansas City?
Mm-hmm. I would say, so whatever stereotype you might have of LA, there's going to be truth in that, right? So I have certainly gone to venture capital networking things that it felt like it was about status, or it felt, like there was big egos in the room, is probably the politest way to say it. And there's just so many people doing so many different things that it's hard to kind of find your people, or in contrast, by my second event coming into Kansas City, I was like, oh wait, I know a couple people in this room, right? Or I found didn't matter who I went up and talked to, I felt like we could have a great conversation, and that there was none of that putting on airs, any kind of ego thing that you might find in Los Angeles. So those are the rooms I like to be in, and I feel very fortunate that I've now landed in a place with those types of environments.
What about New York? What's the difference that you find from the New York?
New York is just super fast paced. I mean, when I was in New York I was actually not in finance yet. I was working for a chocolate company. So I wasn't so much there networking. I was more on the subways, lugging boxes of chocolate to customers and sourcing cacao overseas and doing that kind of fun stuff. So my New York life was a bit different.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
What's the best way to connect with you on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. Please reach out on LinkedIn.
Perfect. All right, David, what are your 2025 goals, and how can the Kansas City community help you?
Oh, wow. So I think part of what I'd like to do is, rest after just, really kind of re-gauge and figure out as far as my next steps. I know for me, I'm always building though. So I would like to maybe start something that, that I can kind of self-prove out, some other startup. I don't necessarily know what, just ideating, feeling things out. But as far as what the community can do to help, just feel free to connect, and even just the chat. If I can help, or if you have any ideas or interest on anything you're working on, I love to just chat shop, and, maybe it's not for me, or just to offer any advice or feedback on how to build something or what it might cost, whatnot. So, I'm pretty open right now.
When is the next time you're going to be back in Kansas City, and what will you be doing when you come back?
It should be next month, I believe, for the Pipeline Gala.
Oh,
I was a Pipeline fellow. So
No way.
yeah, I'm a Pipeline fellow.
Yeah. That's fun. When were you a pipeline fellow?
I don't know. What year was that?
Was it a while
I
ago?
can't even remember my years. 2022?
Can you tell people real quick that are watching this that don't know what pipeline is? What it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pipeline is just a Midwest-based, call it Midwest-based, just entrepreneurship community of just close-knit founders who are, in the thick of it, building, creating. And it's just really a support system to lean on each other and offer resources and community for like founders, because being a founder is lonely. There's not a lot of people who will do it. And when I say that, it's you can have a lot of people to talk to, but there's not a lot of people who will quit their job, lose everything, give up everything to try and make something happen. And that's the community you get in Pipeline. And so having that resource and those individuals who will show up is what it's all about.
Who are your favorite mentors in Pipeline?
What if they're watching?
Who knows? Yeah, let them know.
Oh, that's so tough. I really just enjoyed Bob Jones. Me and him he did a lot. I know that's a lot of people's favorite mentors, but I just felt like we had a lot in common as far as we both played guitar and everything. But he was definitely, I think, my favorite.
Well, my therapist is also the Pipeline therapist, Monica, and she's my favorite out of that program.
Ooh.
She only sees entrepreneurs, and it's absolutely wonderful. She's actually based out of Oklahoma, but
that's a great piece of support. I didn't realize that was a thing. And if there's anyone who needs someone to talk to, it's entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so I got hooked up with her through Maria Flynn, who's Pipeline mentor. So yeah, and Melissa, both of them introduced me to her, and she's wonderful. It's been awesome. Well, I can't wait to meet both of y'all at the gala. I'll be there too. Scott, we got to chat. Maybe you can come with me. So, all right, well, here's the deal. David, best place to connect with you, LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. So you can connect with both Alex and David on LinkedIn. I want to thank you guys so much for coming on today. This was awesome to meet you guys. I can't wait to follow along your journeys. Scott, thank you so much for being the best co-host ever. Thank you so much to Best Way Internationally and Evardy Construction for being the best sponsors. This is the second year in a row for both of them, and we are very, very lucky that they are here to help us bring you these awesome stories from Kansas City. We will be back here same time, same place next week. Actually, Tuesday is the only day I'm in Kansas City next week, so it worked out perfect.
Yep.
We will see you guys next week. Follow along. Bye, guys.